Shel Flounder Collins is administrative assistant in my office, and as those of you that have called, that's the body that answered the phone and helped you out. And then the lady that just walked through is our city clerk. The purpose of this session is to try to answer any questions that all of you have, but in an effort to anything that gets asked, and we make up answers so that anybody else that missed the meeting or you want to come back and see what we asked, we've got the cameras running, and at least if they work, we'll record both the questions and the answers. So if you got a question, come over and use the podium here, state your name and your firm so we capture all that, and then if it really works, you can pop up on the city website, and we'll have a YouTube video of the session posted. The city has gone through the process, an awful lot of cities in Northern Virginia have. We were hit by the recession, and through the recession, we did lots of things to ourselves. City Council raised taxes, we took good employees and fired them and gave them pink slips because we didn't have enough money to pay for them. We trimmed back things that we needed not to trim back. And so throughout the organization, there's the after effect of that difficult time. And one of the things we cut back dramatically was our investment in our IT operations. So where we had a three-person shop and reasonable level of continuing investment, we are now operating with 1.5 persons, and what we know is a underinvestment. And that underinvestment is costing us because our staff is spending more and more time fixing things that broke because we let them wear out, and our operating staff are getting more and more irritated with Vance and his staff and with the city. Can't do my job because the damn computer won't work. And we recognize that although our financial problems aren't over, that we are going to have to make an increased investment. And the council, both from Vance and from the IT professionals on our electric board, is, guys, you probably need some outside help. And so the RFP that we posted is the response to that dilemma. And the kind of by the book, comply with state purchasing laws, and right way to do that is to spend some money up front, hire an outside expert that comes and takes a neutral look at our operations, prepares a report on what we need to do, and then build a detailed, structured RFP for outsourcing vendor support based on that study. We're taking a chance of trying to cut a corner, and our goal is to buy the study and the resulting services from the same body. So the somewhat convoluted structure of the RFP is the result of the decision of let's try to do it that way. And so what we're proposing is asking you all to submit the proposal that the first part will be a study of us, plus looking at what you can learn about us and say, and here's some things that you guys need our help doing right now, so here's some things we'd start doing for you immediately. But once that analysis is in hand, to sit down and negotiate a contract for continuing IT support services that will be basically driven by the study you do for us, but negotiated as a second phase of a two-phase contract. And of course, that's always when you set it up in phases like that, people piss each other off and we get to we can't continue at that point because we already are irritated. That makes a cutoff point for either side. But the goal is that we will end up with one of you helping us for the next probably 5 years, and then expecting that if that's a good and successful relationship, it may even continue past that. So that's a quick description of what's going on. Several of you sent in questions about details of the RFP, and Vance and I sat down and tried to make up answers. And some of them were nice, easy questions that we gave you nice, clear answers, and some of them were broad, general questions that we wrote down something, and you will read that and say, you didn't answer my damn question. And the clearest void in that area is, guys, how much are you going to spend? And the answer is, unfortunately, we don't know. But I can talk to you about the context of what we don't know. We know we're underinvesting now. To show you what we're doing now, we gave you our whole IT budget, which is basically the salary for Vance and Gwen Lansdale, who previously was contracted with us for the last 9 months or so, has been a half-time employee. The little bit of operating expenses, and then buying services from other vendors is basically where we're spending the money we spend now, a little short of $500,000. We expect that when there's a contract signed with one of you and the dust is settled, that we'll continue to have at least some city staff that will be spending a lot of that money with one of you. There's some of the folks that we're now buying services from will continue to buy services from. That some of them you will say, there's a better way to get the same thing, and maybe there'll some say, guys, you're buying stuff you really, given your limited resources, shouldn't be buying. So with your counsel, that budget will get restructured. But the amount of it that flows through you is unknown and will evolve out of the discussion with whoever's the shortlisted vendor that we actually negotiate a contract with. And the amount above what we're spending right now, we hope will be as small as possible. But realistically, we know it needs to be at least a notch more because we know we've been underinvesting. And so the negotiation process, we will guide each other through that decision making. And when the dust settles, we'll still be spending less than we really need and ought to. And to help you understand that, as I said, Manassas Park went through the extreme cutback through the recession. Well, things are looking up. We've got some development proposals coming in, and there's you see some up the road, some dirt being moved. So there's some new construction coming back to the community. For the last 2 years, our assessed value has notched up 5.5% last year, 3.5% this year. So the future is looking better. But unlike our neighbors, we have a problem that we've got to plan for. In fiscal year 2015 and 2016, we've got an increase in our bond principal and interest payments that total about $3.5 million. So we've got basically 2 years from now, over the 2 years after that, start spending $3.5 million a year that we aren't spending right now, which means we've basically got to keep our belt real tight, and most of the growth that comes to us, squirrel it away so we can get over that mountain. Once we're past that 2016, we'll be in relatively good shape. So as we set through the negotiations, you will tell to us, guys, you really need to spend dollars bigger than we want to, and our response will be, can you help us figure a way until we put that off until after 2016? So that will be the basic structure of all the financial decisions that the city will be making over the next few years. Vance or Brian, you got anything other to add to that lead-in?
I think you covered it pretty well.
Very good.
Okay. I passed out the little summary of the questions and answers, and I think, in fact, I gave away the last one. You got one, Vance? And you all can read, so I don't think there's a need for me to go back and re-recite those. But any of you that got any questions about those question and answers about things in the RFP or specific questions, grab the podium and field them, and we'll respond the best we can. Vance will handle the technical ones. Mr. Lieber can speak to long-range political and policy considerations, and I'll respond the best I can to city operations. Vance, you may have to start playing the altar call.
I think they're just still trying to read through those questions.
So you looking for questions?
The podium,
Yeah.
yeah, the podium is available for any questions. Please give your company name.
Yeah, I'm Brian Chavis from AR Group. How inclusive will be the initial process with all of the department people? Or is this going to be sort of insular, kind of top-down kind of an approach that you're going to have?
Okay. The screening committee will be me, Vance, and I think two of the elected officials. Brian Leeper, who's an HP IT technical professional, and Vice Mayor Brian Polk, who is also an IT management professional. And the first process, we'll get the stuff you give us in writing, and we'll go through, use those selection criteria, and trim that down to a short enough to work with, short list. And then with that group of 3, 4, 5 firms, we'll invite them to do two things. One, and have a one at a time, hour or so conversation with those folks, but also take them basically with Vance, a tour of what we've got, speak to the customers, look at the service rooms, ask Brian Vance questions that if I don't understand your conversation, we'll wonder what, and we'll ask him what he's saying, what you answer after you all are through talking.
Okay,
Asking technical questions. Does that answer the question, or I missed the
that's
point?
good information, but really what I was talking about was, let's say you award this to ABC Company. ABC comes on board. Will the process from that point forward be inclusive of the department people?
Okay, yeah. We get down to the point, the next step. After that group of 5, we'll trim it down to 1 or 2. We'll either say, it's clear that there's one of you that's head and shoulders above the most, or there's 2 that look like the best. We then will go through a more detailed negotiation with those, and although we haven't set out the process, we'll probably involve some of the customers in that discussion, but definitely when we get down to working with one, and we're talking about what do we buy from you of those initial services you propose, do we start buying any of them immediately? The involved staff will definitely be involved in those conversations.
Okay, thank you.
Matt Ladd, C5I Corporation. Do you guys have any current metrics on help desk tickets? How often you're having any help desk issues? Do you have any way of tracking that currently?
Yes, we do. We have a ticketing system that we currently use. However, the reporting function isn't the best. We like it to be better. But if that's a solution that a vendor could propose that would improve that functionality, that would be great.
Do you have any current management systems built into that help desk system?
No, we do not.
And do you have any idea, ticket-wise, if you were to average it out, how many tickets you guys have a day?
I would say around 100.
Okay, thank you.
Just to expand a little bit on that question and answer. You've had your ticket system up for
A little
3 or
over
4
two-
months.
A little over 2 years.
No, the formal ticket system,
Yeah, we purchased it the end of, actually, it's been a little over a year, the end of 2010, I think.
okay.
I just want to add that as the systems are working better, I expect that you will find that the number of tickets generated per day will drop as user complaints related to the inadequacy of our IT infrastructure will drop. You know, people won't be complaining that application X is slow, so you won't get those tickets. So as the system works better, I expect that level will drop.
And as always, the range includes something really did go down that's affecting everybody, so you get 50 tickets about the same time, and also includes the, Sally, did you remember to reboot as a first step to see if that fixed it?
I will say out of those 100 tickets, probably about 60 of those are legitimate issues. 40 of those are probably just things that can be answered via email or phone call.
Brian Chavis again from AR Group. Talk about the Munis and how many of those tickets are related to Munis?
Well, none right now.
Because you're using a different system, right? The Munis type system that you use.
Well, currently, we're using the ES400. We are transitioning to the new Munis system, so we don't really get any tickets regarding that. However, in the near future, when the implementation is complete, there will be tickets, but there's no way to quantify that right now.
And when Tyler's under contract now, and then you're going to use their cloud solution in Maine, is that right?
What we've got is our accounting software is IBM's, that was the name?
Bright and Associates.
Right.
No, our accounting, the IBM
Well, we use Microsoft Dynamics GP
Dynamic.
is what Jim is referring to, but the majority of the revenues that the city bring in is brought in through the use of the AS400.
Right.
So we've got a division between our general ledger and the school's general ledger, purchasing, HR, that's on I said IBM, Microsoft, server-based modern software. But the revenue system that's used by the treasurer, the revenue commissioner, the assessor, is a legacy small vendor software IBM AS400 machine. We're buying the Tyler Munis revenue modules to replace that, and once that transition is off, we'll turn off the AS400 and sell it surplus.
And that project is going to be using their cloud service, so you're not going to bring the software.
No, I believe we are going to have the server hosted here.
Well, the server is going to be hosted here.
Okay.
However, they are going to be providing some support. We're just going to be providing the equipment. They're going to do all of the configuration. I will assist with the install, but there will be a level of support after the fact, yes.
Okay. And is that, I studied the budget earlier, but is that money and the ongoing support of that in the IT budget?
It is not, because with capital purchase of the software is budgeted. We ride the first year, maintenance in that pocket. We will have a subsequent future years
Or the 20% maintenance probably or something like
maintenance
that?
contract with them, yeah.
Okay. And
And we'll have some drop off because when it's up and running, we drop the S400.
Right. And is the project manager who's going to implement that an outside consultant?
No.
Okay, somebody internally, probably in
Somebody
finance
internal.
or something's
Yes,
going to do
it's
that.
I think her official title is budget manager.
Okay. We've got a